Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we have our classic announcement of an announcement, a teaser or whatever you want to call it for the next balance patch in Hearthstone. And as Aleko Gariko has posted here, it's looking rather swole, it's looking rather buff, so we're probably expecting some big buffs. We'll talk about that because we know a little bit about the timing and all that. And I also want to talk about a hotfix that went live into Hearthstone today that addressed some stuff in Battlegrounds, as well as some bug fixes on ladder, some interesting stuff there, as well as how you can get like 3 standard packs right now for free in quotation marks, depending on your situation, that you do not want to miss out on. So stay tuned for all of that. And of course, a friendly reminder, we're on the road to 69,420 subs, and it would be awfully nice if we hit that milestone so we could have our next big giveaway. And big thank you to the Hearthstone team for sending me their little swag package for Festival Legends. We got a shirt here, got a hat. And speaking of hats, before we get into the news, I wanted to give a big shout out, a big congratulations to Ridiculous Hat. He's a content creator for Hearthstone. If you heard him on like the Angry Chicken podcast, the Vicious Syndicate podcast, he's a podcaster extraordinaire, a Twitter user extraordinaire, and he has been hired by Blizzard to work as a new associate community manager for Hearthstone. So I tip my hat to you, Ridiculous Hat. I can't think of a single person more qualified and just more awesome to take that spot. I can't wait to see what he's able to do. And with regards to the patch, Aleko Gariko basically posted this, basically hinting we're going to see some major buffs. Major buffs, probably a lot more than nerfs, which is kind of what we've been talking about. Bumping the other stuff up, maybe Rift, something like that. And it was also noted by Nicholas Deck Weiss, somebody who that Ridiculous Hat will work on the community management team, that the next scheduled patch is the bigger balance patch for the expansion, not the really quick one we got for some, key outliers. We saw like the location, the Paladin, Light Ray, and basically a bunch of stuff that hasn't really changed a ton. Basically saying, and it looks like the final design is taking bigger to mean more swole. Finalization and details next week. For now, enjoy the upcoming Masters Tour this weekend. And yes, there's the esports is not completely dead. There's the Masters Tour this weekend. I think it starts on Friday. I'll have a reminder about that like Friday morning because there will be drops for it. But I like to remind you guys the day of because people just typically will forget. And I don't think Hearthstone's going to advertise this too heavily. It's been kind of rough to get any details about all this stuff. But yeah, we have a patch coming up. So what should get hit? We'll do our prediction video probably in a couple of days. We like to do prediction and all that. But I would think we would get the balance patch next week. That's kind of what I was expecting. It makes sense with the regular timeline. But if you take a look at HS Replay, we go against all ranks here, which is, again, not always the best indicator. But we see Warrior just terrible. Pretty obvious that Warrior deserves some buffs, and you can see only 2 classes right now, at least across all ranks, have a positive win rate. Paladin, Deathlight. But it is safe to say that like Shaman has a playable deck right now with Totem Shaman. Demon Hunter arguably has the best deck in the game in Relic Hunter, but mostly at higher legend is it really good. Hunter always seems to have competitive decks. I feel like every class on here is competitive outside of Warlock, Mage, and Warrior. At least at higher ranks, that's where it really falls off. Druid at least has like that Tony stuff. That does seem to be a somewhat valid deck. But I would expect major buffs if we're looking at classes specifically to Warrior, Mage, and Warlock. Because, all you have to do, you take a look at top 1000 Legend meta, which is typically where they will kind of get an idea of what the outliers are. That's typically where the things trickle down, right? The best players play the best decks, and people follow that, and it trickles down. That's how it usually goes. And right now, the tier 1 is just Deathlight, Unholy, and Frost. And I see a lot of complaints about Blood DK being too good. At high ranks, it's barely posting a 50% win rate. I played it today. It just loses to so much greed, to so many things, that it is really good. If you go down to like, say, bronze through gold, like the lowest it's got, yeah, all of a sudden Blood DK is like top tier with pure Paladin, Frost aggro. But you go to the highest ranks, it falls off a cliff, right? And same with pure Paladin, barely above a winning percentage. Nerfs are always the biggest buffs at the end of the day to classes. It really is. The biggest changes always come from nerfs. It just is. And I do want to see a lot of buffs, but at the same time, Power creep's an issue at Hearthstone, so it always makes me worried that, you know, we get another Edwin to 3 situation, a Pocket Galaxy to 5, where it just breaks the game more rather than improving stuff. So I'm still expecting to see nerfs to Deathlight in particular. I could see nerfs happening to Demon Hunter still, obviously, particularly the Relic package. I proposed this change to the Relic Vault, you know, going back to that old meme. But honestly, they could revert the buff on that one. They could probably put the Relic Vault back to 3, and that might be a little bit more reasonable. It's kind of funny how we've come full circle on that. But yeah, I would expect nerfs to Deathlight, still to Paladin, Demon Hunter, and possibly Rogue, as Miracle Rogue, as you can see, arguably the top deck, really close to it. And all these decks are basically not running new cards because you really want to amp all this new stuff up, right? Thief Priests, Fallen Priest, Thaddeus Warlock has a lot of the newer stuff. The Burn Mage with like Light Show and all that, like lots of stuff isn't even on here anymore because nobody's even playing it. You want to elevate that. And, you know, buffs can help, but the biggest thing that I find always helps is nerfs. So I'm hoping, yes, we get a bunch of buffs, more buffs than nerfs, but I really do hope they dial things back. As I mentioned as well, has Astalor had its run? Remember Prince Renethal? It got nerfed. It was in 30% of decks after the Sire Denathrius nerf. It got hit despite the fact it was so loved, so popular and all of that. Astalor is still at 40% of decks as it stands, even without Brand and Standard. The card is just still feels problematic, and that is another card outside of class cards that I could really see getting hit, as well as the cards, I guess, below it, Nerubian Vizier and School Teacher, which are mostly abused by Deathlight in particular, are, you know, really up there. So those are definitely realistic options. But again, we'll put in our official predictions after I put a little bit more thought into it, and we'll have some fun with that and see how wrong I'll be. We also had a hotfix go live in Hearthstone patch 26.03. No official patch notes like on the news site. It's only in the forums. I will post this link down in the description below if you do want to check out the changes. Battlegrounds updates, they love to move their armor, whether it has less, it has more. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but yes, if you want to check that out, you can down below. But more relevant to ladder, there are some significant bug fixes. One where cover artist was copying a Funkin and was set to a 3/3 and did not get the stat buffs. In case it didn't double up and give +2 attack to Divine Shield minions. It should double up. That wasn't working. The bigger one that got changed, and sorry to Alticon, who had an amazing OTK video. And by the way, if you don't follow Alticon on YouTube, you really should. He's nearing 1,000 subs, and he puts out some of the coolest OTK videos out there, like really, really fun stuff, well edited, and it'd be awesome if he could get to 1,000 subs. So I'll put his content in the description below. It's really good. You really should check it out. But they fixed a bug with a multi-strike and going down swinging that allowed for additional attacks to the enemy hero, effectively going like Gonk Druid style, just way too many hits. So that's been changed. Sorry to Alticon and all the enjoyers of that. The Clark did something with that too. And they fixed a bug affected by Rowdy Fan, Annoying Fan, and Obsessive Fan would remain effect after being transformed. Basically, it got kidnapped, or I believe Freezing Trap in particular. I'm not sure, but there was some weird aura effects from like Secrets in particular where the attack buff would just stick around. So that should be fixed. And also fixed a bug where the epic Rap Battle Bling Story achievement granted progress when killing an enemy minion as opposed to just the enemy hero. So that achievement's now harder to do. Apparently, you could just do it by killing a minion with your dagger. I didn't know this, but hey, I still have 100% achievements complete, so expect that guide probably on the weekend. Yes, I did it in less than a week. I have no life. And lastly, free packs. You guys love free packs. Well, if you have Prime Gaming, whether Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, it is currently active to redeem 3 standard packs right now. You can do that up until May 17th. I recommend it. If you have it, claim it, open them. I wouldn't save them for the next set this early on. You probably want some cards. It can have the latest set in there. But yes, there are free packs to be had. I say free because you got to pay for Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime unless someone's paying it for you or whatever. But if you have it, get it if you haven't got it already. And there will be, again, drops this weekend, but I'll give you guys a reminder on that. Probably tomorrow's video, Friday morning. And we'll be talking about other stuff as always. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.